Well, let's get on to the books. Actually, interesting you mentioned families, because my first one, Sorrow and Bliss, is primarily a family story. It tells the story of Martha Friel. And when we meet her, you're plunged straight into her life at the beginning, and you can see that it is absolutely falling apart. It's her 40th birthday. She's basically miserable and mean to everyone, including her husband, at this sweet birthday party that he's organised for her. And then subsequently, he actually leaves. He just walks out, and it's clear that he's had enough. And then the novel switches back and forth between present-day Martha and her childhood into early adulthood, and you meet the rest of her family. Her father, who is a poet, but not a very functional one. He sort of wrote a lot, but didn't really publish anything. Her mother was a sculptress, completely wound up in her work and in almost performing this role of being an eccentric, creative type who didn't have much time to devote to her family and her children. And then Martha's sister, Ingrid, who is her soulmate and who she absolutely loves. And there is this incredible bond between them and this very funny, sparky relationship that's just beautifully observed. It's so well done. You're kind of wondering all the time, like, why is Martha the way that she is? And she has this event in her early teens where she suffers what is diagnosed at the time as glandular fever, but it's just this kind of collapse of her ability to do things normally. And then we see her as she struggles on through life. She has diagnosis after diagnosis. She's prescribed every kind of antidepressant. She takes them, but nothing really changes anything. And yet you're just almost like her in a way, like the main character. You're consumed by this curiosity to find out, well, what is wrong? What's going on here? And then she does finally have a diagnosis, a doctor who is able to identify something that has always been overlooked. And when she hears it, the symptoms so perfectly match what she has experienced her entire life. She knows that that is the true thing that's going on. And interestingly, the author doesn't actually name it, which I think some people might find exasperating. I didn't, but when I've been reading reactions to this book, I know that that's something that some people struggle with. I think it was a really interesting choice not to actually name it, because it almost broadens out the discussion of mental illness and its effects on the people around the person who's experiencing something like this, their family, their partners, their children, which I think is what Meg Mason's really interested in. And if you're curious to hear what this sounds like, very excitingly, I have a clip. The audiobook is narrated by Amelia Fox, and I'm reproducing it with the kind permission of the Orion Publishing Group.
My sister and I still look alike. Our jaws are similarly too square, but according to our mother, we somehow get away with it. Our hair has the same tendency towards straggliness, has generally always been long, and was the same blondish colour until I turned 39 and realised in the morning that I could not stop 40 from coming. In the afternoon, I got it cut to 2 square jaw length, then went home and bleached it with supermarket dye. Ingrid came over while I was doing it and used the rest. Both of us struggled with its upkeep. Ingrid said it would have been less work just to have another baby. I have known since I was young that, although we are so similar, people think Ingrid is more beautiful than I am. I told my father once. He said, "They might look at her first, but they'll want to look at you for longer."
It sounds like a worthy read. What is it that makes it a good summer read? You're going to have to persuade me.
It's so funny. It's laugh out loud funny. And you know me, nothing makes me laugh. And this is hilarious. It is so well observed. And every line has something in it. It's incredibly rich. I thought the family dynamics are so beautifully observed. The drama and tension is just so perfectly calibrated to keep you turning the pages. And I was up till the small hours of the morning reading this one. And just every once in a while, it will make you laugh out loud, particularly this relationship between Martha and her sister. One of the things I really loved about this was that at the end, the author includes a note in which she explicitly states that it is a work of fiction and it's not something that she herself has experienced. And it feels so true that when you read that, I almost felt a bit surprised because It felt to me like it was coming from someone's lived experience. And when I finished it and I saw that note, I just thought, wow, what a work of fiction. You know, there's so much, we read a lot of it. There's a lot of auto-fiction, people fictionalizing their own stories or weaving their own stories in with fictional elements. And what I loved about this is that it's a novel, it's invented. She wanted to explore these ideas and these themes, and she created these characters, and she really thought about this scenario, and she made it believable and funny and true. It took my breath away. I thought it was so, so good.